So recently I put out a video talking about proper research and citations. If you haven't seen it, I recommend watching it before watching this one. But the gist is that I use a story about a video on Spy Family that never came to be, as the crux of my thesis, the Three Faces theory, turned out to have a real tenuous history and lineage that sent me down a really long rabbit hole that basically had my entire premise fall apart. I framed the story on how it was ultimately a good thing that this happened, and why it's a good idea to always cite your sources so that you can take accountability for where you get your information. Well, the great irony is that that video may have been my most annoying video to research and check the research to date. I had huge trouble even making sure my main points, citations were even correct. So I decided in order to salvage the video, I had to make that part of the point too, and end up being weirdly meta with all these editor me here parts, just because I didn't want to re-record. I'm so hot, I'm sweating right now as I record this. Don't make anime YouTube videos. Why? It's not worth it. Anyway, there was this section in my original cut of the video that talked about how even citing a bad source can be a good thing, in that it gives you a certain amount of accountability. And then I proceeded to use an example from my own videos where I had made a mistake and cited the source. Here's the segment. But the mere act of citing gives you a certain amount of accountability and credibility. Like, bro, it's a get out of jail free card, man. Case in point, in my anime etymology video, I forget what it's actually called, I made mention of the French term desanime, which I claimed had a literal meaning of design cartoon. Many people kindly pointed out in the comments that the term just more accurately means just animation. The reason I said that was because one of my Keystone articles about the history of anime fandoms in Europe mentioned it. The article was in English, I know zero French, I just had to trust it. But I was able to just say, look, this is my source, my bad, I'll vet more harder next time. Done, problem solved, no controversy. Here is also the full comment that I had pinned on the video itself, where I mentioned these Keystone articles as being where I got the original translation of this anime from. So I'm editing the current video right now, right? And I felt I needed a screenshot of that Keystone article to put up on the screen to, help explain the point, the basis of editing. What you say should match the visuals of what you're talking about. So I quickly reread that Keystone article, just, to find the term where it was, and then I reread the next one, and then the one after that, and I discovered that they all didn't mention desanime, instead using the term bande dessinée, a term used for French print comics. Everything else was there, the history of Candy Candy and Grandizer in France and Spain, the co-productions with like Zoom the White Dolphin, Renee Borg, and Old Chestnut, but no desanime. Then I thought, okay, maybe I had seen a bad dictionary definition of it somewhere along the line, but all the online dictionaries I looked up more accurately translated it as a cartoon. And that's when I had a sinking feeling that turned out to be true. I checked the Wayback Machine, and on the Wikipedia page for anime back in 2021, it translated this anime as cartoon, or literally animated design. Oof. Now, in my defense, in another video I made talking about resources that have helped shape the way I look at anime, I mentioned how Wikipedia can be a good launching pad for research since you can check its sources. And it has had two official listed sources at different points. The first, around about 2020, was the Online Etymology Dictionary definition for anime, which itself has since removed any mention of this anime from the definition. The second from the book Manga Manga, The World of Japanese Comics by Frederick L. Schotten, which was written in 1983, which seems like it was a seminal book at the time, but maybe not be the most up-to-date thing. It's available on the Internet Archive, so I skimmed through the book to the best of my ability that I was granted within an hour, but I couldn't find any mention of the term desanime because, again, it mainly talked about manga. Now, a lot of these dictionary websites still offer design as a possible translation for desan as well. So I had either conflated the two definitions available on Wikipedia, or had used a different online dictionary that maybe has updated its definition since to be less literal, or even worse, I had used machine translation, and I had run with whatever I had in my haste to record the video and get it up. Either way, it was slack of me, and it's not up to the standard the rest of the research in that video, which I still think is quite good. I was going to cut that whole thing out, since even I recorded a bit of this editor me here, kind of clarifying that point. That whole section became about 3 to 4 minutes long. It just was too tumorous, and, I decided to cut it. But I thought that it was important to point out my mistake, and the irony of the situation was just too good not to share. The fact that it was something that I had made a mistake in my research in, misremembered the source I had gotten it from, went to make a video to use it as an example of the importance of citing your sources even when you make mistakes, then had to spend a solid afternoon trying to even find the original source I got it from, only for it to possibly not even exist. It's kind of hilarious, right, when you think about it. Research is hard, man. And people make mistakes, and it's inevitable, it's unavoidable. They might not even really be mistakes at the time sometimes, only to become mistakes later. There is this idea of the half-life of knowledge, or the half-life of facts, the time it takes for half of the knowledge that we accept as true scientific facts in a particular field to be proven false at a later date. I've made other mistakes before, usually they're more kind of to do with like wording things or maybe a specific thing's wrong, but almost always it comes out of lack of proper citation. Wikipedia has since updated the anime page to have this anime be more of an accurate translation, and it lists a source that is seemingly more reliable. So there is a positive to come out of all this. The update seemed to happen around mid-2022, so I'd like to think that my video could have had a part in changing it, even if it was from my mistake and a French speaker checking Wikipedia out of curiosity. But it really does go to show how important it is to do this stuff. Never assume, always cite, double check your citations, and be honest when you make a mistake. I'm going to stop recording now.